Hey, everyone, and welcome to Signals from the Frontline, your every Wednesday live broadcast brought to you by Frontline Gaming. We are your hosts, back together again, Kicker, the chief of serial and sigilite of the FLG, and I'm Seth the Mad Dog, your competitive correspondent. And in the disembodied voice background is lovely producer Nicky Dee Cannon. How has everyone been doing?
Missed you guys. I mean, it's been a little while. Hey, if you're listening to our podcast, please consider watching us live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get to see the cool visual elements. You get to be part of chat. We're a nice family here. So yeah, consider watching us live. Hi, chat. We see ya. Yes, I am back. And if I'm sounding a little bit of out of breathness, I don't know if that is that the word. I can't really speak right this second. It's because I literally just ate a bottle of pickled spicy Brussels sprouts. Guess where I got them from, Seth? I got them from Buc-ee's, right there. You love it. Buc-ee's has everything, including spicy pickled Brussels sprouts. And my tongue is on fire. Sorry.
Who wants to eat spicy pickled Brussels sprouts? Like, I've had roasted Brussels sprouts, but not like, I've never been like, what will make this better? Making it acidic and spicy.
Well, so guys, for those of you not in the southern part of the United States, we have this wonderful gas station chain called Buc-ee's, and it is an experience. They have literally everything there, including these particular Brussels sprouts. And you know what? My wife is pregnant, and whatever she wants, we buy.
Okay,
and we
fair enough.
Let's just go with it.
I take back my critique now.
So I was on my, I believe the politically correct term is the baby moon. We have a baby on the way, and my wife and I kind of escaped. We are back. And as soon as I got back home, as soon as I got out from the airport, I immediately had to start hobbying. Can we bring down my hobby progress? Because look at that. That is tons of troops. I am going troop heavy in this edition. I just really like my guard. And these are all my basic Astra Militarum, but you'll notice their heads are different. I didn't use the standard shock trooper helmet. I used the little cadet cap and the upgrade, so I can show
cool.
Shock troopers versus standard infantry. So I'm excited to run these guys in this new edition. Seth, what have you been up to? Come on, you've been playing, man.
I've been playing. And I've been painting. So right. I managed to get a few models done. If we pop mine up, I believe first up is my beast boss on foot. Yeah. And then some of you guys may have seen this over at ACO. I don't know if I've shown it off on the channel yet, but I actually had my Seth the Mad Dog commissioned as an STL, so I could 3D print that. And then I had this big boy, Mazrok Scragbad, finished him up because he is so much fun.
Wait, did you not have one in the previous edition?
I had 3 beast bosses, but not the special character beast boss.
Okay.
So I finished. I had him. I just had to finish painting him. So.
And is it because those rules got a little good? Just a little good?
He's a lot of fun.
I saw that. They're really spicy now.
Yeah. So
spicy.
I've been having a lot of fun with him. So that's been me. Nicky Dee, what have you been doing?
There we go. Lots of buttons to push. Hey guys. Hey, we're back in full Voltron form here with everybody on the show. I'm excited for that. I did a little hobby reorganization.
No,
I'm in the middle here. I'm like the kid. I'm like the kid in the middle of the car with the backseat. Mom, stop! He's touching me, right? That's what we're going for. No, I mostly did some. I built a bookshelf or two. Guys, let me know if you also have this problem with your partners. My wife said I had too many Warhammer books. Anybody been there in that position before?
Yeah,
just me?
Guilty. Yeah.
So my wife has way more books than I do.
I mean, my wife does have a lot of books too, but just not Warhammer. So we together cumulatively a lot of books. So did some reorganization to make things all set there. So things are looking good. I did build the Changeling because I figured out that I'm gonna need to have him in my list. We'll talk about that later in our main segment about 10th edition. But that's pretty much it. Played some Warhammer. We're going to talk about that later as well. But no, it's been a good couple of days. It's been a good week since we were last year on the show.
Yeah. Okay, side tangent, really important, guys. Do you think we need more physical models, more actual characters from the book in model format? Like, I think it'd be kind of cool if you had, you're reading all these Black Library books. Do we want more of those guys? Do we want more miniatures? Yes, no, what do you think? I do, personally.
I need more Seth the Mad Dog miniatures. That's what I
need. More Seth the Mad Dog miniatures. Seth, we got to get a Black Library book about you. Nicky Dee, don't you want some cool chaos, guys that are right out of the literature?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, more models is better, right?
Yeah. No one's ever going to say no to more models.
My wallet or my credit card might try to say no, but me personally, my thought process is saying, let's go.
Yeah. Well, should we jump into the industry news? There's not too much this week, but we do have some GW pre-orders. Specifically, the 40K 10th edition rule book is out. Finally, you can buy just the book. You don't need the whole box set. You're also getting these fun starter sets or the introductory sets. Some of them got more models. Some of them have less models. Some of them have a lot of models and terrain. It just gives you those 3 different kind of price points to see how you want to start
into it.
Start your hobby. They also have a pretty cool setup with the ones with the paint and some clippers in there and a paintbrush. So it's like really, if you just want to get your first, just dip your toe into the hobby,
or get your kid into it,
or get your kid into it. Yes. And of course, there's always got to be a few little minis we got to release. We're getting the single minis. You're getting the Librarian in Terminator armor as a standalone model, as well as I'm just gonna call them Barbie girls. Sorry, I can't read the notes. Barbigons. I have no idea what the hell these things. What are these, Seth? What are the Barbigons?
They're one of the new Barbigons. It's like one of the new units out of Leviathan. Okay. They're little. They're like a step between the regular Gaunt with a gun and like a Hive Tower with a gun. They're like scale wise, they're in between those.
Cool. So both those and the Terminator, the Librarian Terminator, are both in the Leviathan box, but now you can get them as individual sets, which is nice. Sweet. We got to go into nerd news. This is critical. Now, Nicky Dee is normally our nerd news guru, but he's kind of given me the opportunity to bring up some stuff that I watch. Nicky Dee, please jump in though and correct me when I make mistakes, and also feel free to throw in stuff that I might miss. Really, let's just start off with a really important one here. Witcher Season 3 was out. It's been out. I watched the entire season while on the plane and whatnot. Witcher Season 3, quick hot take. Yeah, not so good. What do you think, man? What do you think, man?
So I have not watched it yet. We've been watching a lot of movies recently. Haven't been in the mood to sit down and watch a TV show, but you're not the first or only person to say that, Kicker. So I'm going to get to it eventually, but the reviews haven't given me a reason to go check it out. But I will point out, right, Seth, you talked about this last week with The Flash. People not really hyping it up, and you had a great time with it. So, opinions could be different. I'm gonna watch it, but I'm just not feeling up for it.
Yeah, I had a hard time feeling invested in that series. Now, Seth, this was one that I don't know if you've seen this yet, but I really wanted to tell you the other day after I watched, like, Seth, go check this out. Guys, this is on Disney Plus, so take it or however you want to take it. But we do know anything that Disney makes has got super high production value. Flaming Hot. This is the story about Flaming Hot Cheerios. It is amazingly entertaining.
Flaming Hot Cheerios?
Oh, sorry, Cheerios. Yeah, Flaming Hot Cheerios. You know,
Cheetos, Kicker.
Seth, anything can be cereal if you put it in a bowl with milk. So Flaming Hot Cheetos.
No.
Okay, but Seth, come on. You've had Flaming Hot Cheetos, right? You've had them. You know, you love them.
Chat. Let's define if Flaming Hot Cheetos with milk is cereal. I can't breeze past that, Kicker.
Just let the chat take it away. Yeah. So most of you have all experienced this wonderful food delicacy, the Flaming Hot Cheetos. The story behind its creation is pretty exciting. So go check this out on Disney Plus. It's something you can watch with your significant other. It's funny. It's chill. Highly recommended it. And then finally, this is the big one. What is chat saying? Is chat just disagreeing regarding the cereal situation? They're
yelling at you to wash your mouth.
They're not supportive of Cheetos and milk.
They are not.
They're not.
I don't think I've seen them this excited before.
Cheetos, guys. I mean, they're coated in a dairy. It only makes sense to dunk them in some more dairy. Okay, let's move on. That cheese is probably not real anyway.
Definitely not real, Kicker. Move on, please. All right, I just ate dinner right before I got up here. I don't need my stomach to be off.
Okay. So Nicky Dee's kind of like my BFF when it comes to like a lot of the brand new shit that's coming out that we got to talk about, the new movies and stuff. Guys, have you seen the trailer for the new Napoleon movie? Please tell me. Oh my gosh. It is
on my watch list. My watch list.
So damn good. It's done by the guy that did Gladiator. I think. I mean, come on. Somebody in chat tell me. The name is like on. Like I know this guy. Anyway, famous background. It's got Joaquin Phoenix is the lead.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. That's all I know about it is Joaquin Phoenix.
So good. After you're done watching us tonight, go and watch the trailer for this. You will not be disappointed. Now, Seth, I think we need to go into event news, or do we have any? You have any nerd news you want to share? Nicky Dee, do you have any nerd news?
Real quick, I'm pointing out the Napoleon director. It's Ridley Scott, one of the greats. Yes. So I very upset with myself. I didn't know that part specifically, but it's in my watch later queue in YouTube. So I will be reporting back later on my thoughts.
I mean, you all are seeing the wrong movie this summer. The film event of the summer is Barbenheimer. You have to go see Barbenheimer. I'm honestly like, I'm a huge Nolan fan, so I was already on board for Oppenheimer. And I'm not gonna lie, the trailers for Barbie at least got me intrigued about the movie. I probably won't see it in theaters, but I will see it on streaming. But my wife has already decided she's going to see it in theaters, so I'm on board. If she comes back with, if she comes back with good reviews, it's definitely I'm gonna watch that. But I'm definitely seeing Oppenheimer in theaters.
Nicky Dee, what's your wife think of the Barbie movie? What's her thoughts? Does she got any opinion on it?
A kicker. I'll be completely honest here and vulnerable. I am more excited than my wife, than my partner, to see the Barbie movie. It looks ridiculous. It looks crazy. And I'm in, like, there are certain things where I like to have a good, high quality movie. There are certain things, like if folks know the How Did This Get Made podcast, where movies that are just so ridiculous that you'd wonder why or how it got made. I enjoy a good, ridiculous movie. And I feel like Barbie, at least what we're seeing from the trailers, is pointing towards a high level ridiculousness.
Feels like Zoolander. Well, we'll chat. Tell us
one of my favorites.
Barbie, if that's a movie that you're going to go watch, we'll have to get somebody's review of this.
I mean, there is one problem, kicker.
Yeah, shoot.
The release of Barbie and Oppenheimer is when I'm going to be at LSO.
Oh, that's true.
I see a movie night, man.
So I'm not opposed if there's a theater nearby, Saturday night, Barbenheimer. I mean,
sure.
People want to do it.
Let's just do it. I guys, tell us if you want to join Seth and I to go see a movie after playing 40K all day.
I might fall asleep in the theater, actually. Wait a minute.
All right. So we are talking about Lone Star Open. You just finished. Nice segue, by the way, there, right?
Yeah,
so
I knew what I was doing.
Well done. The Lone Star Open is next weekend, guys. It has gotten way bigger than I expected. I spent my morning today just redoing the layout because I had to try and squeeze in more tables. Now, we are a 40K biased, podcast here. We most of us play 40K. We all like 40K. So I'm keeping the 40K layout as you know and love. Where you, at LSO, we have a lot of elbow room around each table. Some of the other game systems are going to be a little more squashed in there, but
cozy is the word.
Cozy. But you know what though, like 40K, that's the biggest event at this game. I mean, at this tournament. So, okay, so. It is our military appreciation event. If you are military, when you're checking in, you're getting a wristband from us. That's so that we can identify you, so that your opponent can identify you as being a military service member. If you're a military service member, you're going to get several perks throughout the week. And Frontline Gaming's got a little gift for you guys. We kind of encourage your opponent to, hey, if he sees that you're a military dude, he should be buying you a drink. We would, or at least shake your hand or something. But it'd be kind of cool if we get some more branch versus branch challenge matches, because on Friday night is the meet and greet where military is allowed to, challenge. Army guys can challenge Navy guys and whatever. That'll be taking place Friday from 4 to 7:30 p.m. And that's at the same time that the Vanguard Tactics Workshop is. Seth, are you taking that? Are you going to do it?
Yep, I'm signed up for the workshop. I'm going to have me some fun with Mr. Stephen Box and see if I can maybe hone my skills a little bit right before the event. Kicker. We've lost your audio. Yeah, maybe. Nope, we've lost Kicker's audio. All right. Well, the Friday night is open to everyone, my understanding, to come hang out and meet and greet and play. You don't have to be. All right, there you go. Can you hear him, Kicker?
Can you guys hear me? I can hear you.
Yep. We have a number of questions. Of questions.
Sorry, you lost me there. By the way,
is it U.S. military appreciation only?
So yes, that is kind of the stipulation. If you are, from Czechoslovakia, we love you, but we're appreciating the U.S. Military service members at this particular event. That
active
is kind of
or veterans.
So it's active or veteran. So currently serving or formerly serving,
right.
All are welcome. Please do. You'll see. We're going to be putting out an email probably in the next few days, a posting that will have every sort of bit of information you need, including how to contact your branch leader at LSO. Reach out to them if you want to represent, say, is somebody in the 40K. If you want to represent your branch in the 40K champ competition, please reach out to them. There is a branch versus branch competition within the greater 40K Champs event. So yeah, jumping right along, we also want to talk about breakfast in the hall. There's also lunch in the hall. It's a good bang for your buck. You don't have to wait in line. It's fast. Breakfast is right there. It's breakfast burritos. Lunch is going to have a nice range of stuff. It's faster and cheaper than going to the restaurant there. I know, Seth, you've done LSO before, right?
I've not. This is actually my first time I'm doing it.
Oh, no way. So there's a really nice restaurant in the hotel, but it takes a little bit of time and it's a little bit pricey. So if you just want a quick breakfast burrito, that's the best option.
All right.
And then
I'll be in
finally,
for burrito.
Sponsors, dude. We got multiple sponsors this year. We've got Rexer's Lasers, a local Texas brand, and Enemy Spotted Studios. Both of those guys are buying drinks for the military personnel. They just are like, you know what? We're buying a bunch of drinks. So
thanks,
very
guys.
cool on them. Yeah. Duncan Rhodes is also going to be having a paint and take station there. Duncan himself will not be there, but you'll have an option to play with all the paints.
Great chance to test the paints out now that they're out for wide distribution.
Yes. And if you ask nicely, you could probably go home with all the samples that we open up there. So, of paint. You get to keep the model, but we'll probably give away that paint too at the end of the day. And finally, this is something I'm really stoked about. Can we bring up this cool photo here? Because I just want to have this in the background. There we go. Check this out, right? Like just enjoy that, right? Guys, the Hobby Goblins, you know them, you love them, amazing community members. They're doing something really cool for LSO, which we're going to try and roll out at the LVO. So LSO has always been kind of a test ground for LVO. It was originally a small event. Now the LSO has become very big, but it's a cool testing ground. So what we're doing is, adding this cool new. I'm just gonna read the verbiage here, right? So the Hobgoblin ammo run. Sorry, I can't read. The Hobgob ammo run at the Lone Star Open. The Goblins have lost their cachet. Find their ammo throughout the venue, snap a picture, and save and share it via the social media link. Yeah, I can't read apparently. All participants who find 4 or more of these bolt shells are entered to win the Bolter kit made by Big Bear 3D. So you see these little bolt shells in the photo right there? Yeah. Those are going to be hidden throughout the Lone Star Open. And all you got to do is take a picture of it, upload it via social media, and then get entered in to win a freaking bolt kit, like a full bolter kit. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's really super nice.
Like, we got a photo of one. Nicky D, can we show the photo of the actual gun? Like, it's so badass, dude. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Like,
they do some beautiful work. They made my Choppa feel sad.
Yeah, it's pretty damn sweet. And also, so if you're the first to capture all 12, so there's 12 of these little bolt shells. If you're the first to capture 12 of these, you win the grand prize at the Lone Star Open, which is a las pistol kit. So like right then and there, you get to get home with a really, really sweet las pistol. And I know everyone talks about the rifles and the chain swords, but dude, seriously, I think the las pistol is the coolest one. It really is.
Of course, the guard player says that.
Oh my gosh, come on, man. There'll be additional prizes throughout the weekend as well. So make sure you stop by the Hobby Goblins booth and talk to them and hopefully participate in this cool thing. Do we have some questions? Looks like we got a few questions.
We have a question from Dorian in chat. Will LSO be using GW Tacoma rulings on a number of things? My suggestion would be go check the event ruling document. I know Adam Solis, our head judge, has been updating that through the day. I would say in general, it's probably a safe bet that if GW says this is how the rule is, most people are going to follow that. But check that document. That's the official answer in there.
Good call, Seth. Absolutely correct. We are going to be monitoring very closely. We have a lot of boots on the ground in Tacoma this weekend, watching what's going on there. So if we have to make some slight adjustments just to keep the tournament balanced, I'm sure you'll understand we're doing it for the enjoyment of everyone. Looks like John Q's asking something else. Seth, you want to take this one?
Wants to know if we have a Duncan cardboard cutout. I don't know about that, but I do think I could find a Duncan cardboard mask if we needed it.
I mean, I think that would be great if we just had. We might as well get a Henry Cavill one at the same time too, right?
We've already had the Henry Cavill one. That was really that was LVO.
Oh, geez. Okay, let's make that happen. Speaking of LVO, we are adding more events to the Las Vegas Open. We just added the first time ever a Warcry event, which we're really stoked about. And we've gotten the official AMG Worlds qualifier status for all the AMG games there, except for MCP. But Star Wars Legion, Armada, X-Wing are basically the highest status tournament you can have within those game systems. And 40K champs and the Age of Sigmar champs are totally sold out in record time. This is insane. We're super stoked, but like, wow, it really sucks if you didn't buy a ticket. Please sign up to be notified via the web cart when we do add tickets, because people are going to refund tickets, people are going to return tickets. I am working with our warehouse at the Frontline Gaming headquarters to try and make more terrain. Big shout out to Mikey G. We got Nicky D, we got Mikey G. I got to. So Mike Gandolfo, our road warrior,
Mhm.
he is trying to see if we can get some more terrain made because I know the demand is out there. Since tickets have sold out, I've had about 300 people sign up already to get notified to get tickets. So,
so
hopefully we can keep on
that
adding
is
to it.
your official means of getting tickets is going on and getting on the notify me list. And Kicker, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's first come first serve when those tickets hit the cart.
Exactly, Seth. You are 100% correct. It is first come, first serve. We do not have a wait list. We do not give preferential treatment. The idea is that when we release tickets, we'll put them in the web cart at that exact time. Everyone that's been signed up to be notified will get an email at the exact same time. So it's the only fair way we can make this work. So,
Yep.
Hey, Seth, I think it's time to go to one of your favorite segments of our show.
The signal short.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Nick's here to quiz us.
Oh, okay. Nick's got the question. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, it's only the official questions and official things. And guys, we're going to be doing this as it's a question for everybody for the show. So our signal short question. There we go. Made sure I got the screen. Is the emperor a dog or cat person? And Seth, I'll have you go first. Is the emperor a dog or cat person?
He's a cat person because he doesn't really want to care for the cats. He just kind of wants to throw food out for them and give them a litter box. And he's like, you children can figure out the rest.
Okay, Seth beats me. I was going to say, clearly he's a dog person because he has the space wolves. There's no such thing as like the space cougars or anything like that. Like he's already
that we know of.
That we know of. All right. Nicky Dee, what do you think? Come on, give us your thoughts on what you've had time to think about this.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think he's a cat person. He just stays at home and just makes his servants go and bring the food for him and just do all the things. Occasionally they'll praise him. Like, come on, like that is a cat. That's exactly what a cat does.
Person. Oh my gosh. All right, chat, tell us what do you think. Is the emperor a dog or a cat person? We'll be checking your comments.
All right.
Seth, you want to introduce our main segment?
Yeah, so our main segment for tonight is our first experiences with 10th edition. Now that we've had time to get it under our belt, we've all been here. I know I went to an RTT, Nicky Dee went to an RTT, Kicker's got his first in-person games. It's time to kind of give our thoughts on how the game's been going and what we're liking and what we're learning. So, Kicker, I hear you had your first game this past weekend.
Yeah. So I had my first game really playing 10th edition. It was with my buddy Brian, a local player here in New Orleans. And I mean, so when I approach a new edition or a new game or anything, I like try to make it as easy as possible. So I
think we've lost Kicker's audio again. Well, now it's just us.
All right, Seth.
Yeah.
Well, we're waiting for Kicker to. We're waiting for a Kicker to rejoin here. But Seth, you and I both attended RTTs this past weekend, right? So how'd it go for you?
Well, I think first off, what'd you take?
Oh, I mean, I took Chaos Demons. What did you take?
I took Orcs.
Okay.
Because I am not a fair weather Orc fan. Like some top ranked Orc players who've been playing Eldar recently, maybe are not throwing shade. Kicker, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
And we can hear you, Kicker.
Hey, yep.
So
I think they're working my power lines or something because my whole house just like turns on and off, and it's kind of creepy actually because my house is 130 years old.
Like New Orleans.
Yeah. Really fast TLDR. Actually, I really want to focus on you guys because you both played RTTs. I'll tell you, it was my first game. I took it easy. I didn't take a complicated list, so I just want to just get the basics, and I really had a good time.
What'd you take?
Oh, let's not talk about it. Do we have to talk about that? All right. I took a Storm Lord.
You're gonna say you didn't take a complicated list and then not tell people what you took?
All right. I play guard, as we all know and love. I took a Storm Lord, which is the big transport Baneblade variant can carry 40 infantry guys in there, and it was kitted actually with a bunch of mortars and rattling, so it was actually a really optimized load because every single model inside could shoot and anything. But
oh god,
yeah. So it was one giant model with basically 800 points, combined right there, and that was it. It was, and then I mean some other stuff, sentinels and whatnot. But I had a lot of fun, just like with the card. The card aspect kept it so exciting. Like, oh, what is my secondary for this round? Like, it was that was fun. So I think cover. There's a lot of cover. Everything's got cover. Everything's in cover all the time, which is kind of annoying. But it also makes things that ignore cover or remove cover that much more exciting to use. But that was my very basic, first game. Is a lot of fun. but cover is really, really strong. Or really, you have to prepare for cover. You have to assume everything's in cover. Where were you guys? Who's going for their first round? Seth or Nicky?
We were talking about what we took.
Okay, cool. So I took a Stormlord, not that exciting. Seth, what do you? I'm orcs, of course, right?
Yep. And I talked about it a bit on my channel, but I kind of took a wide orc list. I didn't take anything super big. I think the biggest thing was like Mozrog, which we talked about in the intro, and a beast boss on Sugasor, and then just a bunch of stuff. So just trying to be as mobile and MSU as I can be, to, like you were talking about, try to play the tactical objectives, and have kind of tools. But Nicky Dee, Chad's saying you didn't go wide.
Oh.
I mean, I went wide in a way. Would you consider 2 great unclean ones wide?
I mean, I guess technically.
Yeah, so I like running my big chonky monsters. So I ran Be'lakor, a great unclean one with an enhancement. So he had a 4-up feel no pain when he's in the shadow of the warp, which he's pretty much being babysat by Be'lakor. So he pretty much always had it. Rodigus, who's the named great unclean one, a Lord of Change with an enhancement. And then Karos Fate Weaver, the named Lord of Change. So 5 big monsters, and then a lot of small units, really just for going and holding objectives or doing actions. So lots of big, lots of small, and basically nothing in between. It was actually round 1 at the event was my first game of 10th edition.
Oh, no way. Wow.
Yeah,
well done.
so it was, I'll give a little bit of spoiler. So when I'm playing round 3 on top table for the event, it was a little bit of like how the heck did I get here? I liked the list. There's some things that I definitely learned playing 3 games in one day, but overall, I got to say 10th edition was a pretty good, cool experience.
Did you take tactical or fixed in terms of your secondaries?
Oh, tactical. Yeah, I took tactical. There's definitely some times where, I do, compared to Maelstrom missions in some of the past editions, some of the ways that you can cycle the cards, it gives you more agency in how you do them, and you have to build a list. I think, Seth, you talked about how you brought a wide list with a lot of tools. I think it really incentivizes you to play that kind of list. But Seth, I think we talked about this last week. You're a tactical guy as well.
Yeah. So that's what I've been having the most fun with. I'm going to steal a phrase that really connected with me from another show. Colin Sherman over on the Best in Faction was making a comment on their last episode that really resonated with me, which is fixed secondaries are probably better for a player that can see the board state 2 or 3 turns in advance. Tactical is better for players that can't see that but can react and play each turn to kind of maximize their points. So I usually am not the kind of guy that can see the board state that far in advance, so I like tactical. I was kind of banging my head against the wall trying to do fixed, and then kind of when I switched back to tactical after listening to Vanguard Tactics, they kind of pushed me in that direction, and it really helped. Oh, we got us a super chat.
Oh, wow.
John McCardle coming in with the $99.99 super chat. Toilet dice for the win. Did you hear about the toilet dice controversy?
I did. And actually, a lot of people were asking how we would handle that at a Frontline Gaming event. Seth, for those not in the know, we have to address this thanks to our wonderful, generous, friend here. Seth, why don't you tell us what happened, in a very brief,
So
overview.
I've heard it from multiple sources, so I think I have most of the story straight. Essentially, there was, I guess 2 weeks ago now, an event in England where a Eldar player had some dice that looked different than the rest of his dice. He had 2 dice that looked different. And those dice were always dice that he was using for important rolls. And have his round, I can't remember what round, maybe round 4 opponent felt that maybe those dice weren't rolling fairly. And so that round opponent actually went out and bought salt so they could float the dice in water to see if they were loaded. They were confirmed to be loaded. The player was red carded and removed from the event. But before going, for some reason, the player tried to dispose of the dice by flushing them down a toilet.
Yep.
And I don't know if you're aware of this, Kicker, but if a thing is heavy enough in a toilet, it won't flush.
Yeah, that's a thing.
So it failed to flush. So the dice were found in the toilet.
And a rumor has it that the dice were then removed from the TO and have been immortalized by being hung on the wall, I guess, in some sort of shadow box above the toilet for all to witness.
I
don't know if this is true or not. Have you heard this?
I haven't. I wouldn't be surprised, but Joel's in chat saying to use them for the first turn roll. That would make sense. Rolling a 6 for first turn is pretty dang strong.
Pretty good.
So yeah, there's rules outlined in the FLG code of conduct that if these types of infractions are caught, they're going to be punished. So yeah. Anyway,
we don't like to like ever discuss the bad stuff because you know this is a fun hobby, we want to enjoy it, but this was just so blatantly. Can we just call it what it is? Like stupid of the guy. Like, yeah, why are you like? What the hell are you thinking? Going
it doesn't make any. Yeah, like you're already playing an Eldar list that's super strong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why do you need that benefit? And then like it's just it's I don't know. I just don't understand it. It's kind of like it boggles the mind. And then the from my understanding, the fact that he was caught, ejected, and then just tried to dispose of the dice in the toilet, I just don't understand why. Like why were you just like, you know what, the best thing for me to do right now is just to flush these.
Yeah.
So don't know. Anyway, fun stories. Moving on. Nicky Dee, let's talk about our rounds. How'd your round 1 go?
Round 1, again, first game of 40K 10th edition. I paired into a almost all Gravis Deathwatch army, and the list title in BCP was "This is basically what I have." That was how we played it. I gotta say, my opponent was really, really great. He was probably about half my age, so probably not out of high school, but really good player. Overall, I think as we went through the game, he killed Be'lakor, I think, in his turn 1, but then I was rushing the objectives, took out a couple of tanks. As we got towards the end of the game, I had noticed something with this game, because I was keeping track of my score as I, you know, and not just, okay, I got this many points, but what is my total score? So I know exactly how many points I'm at, how many I'm tracking towards. My opponent was not doing that. And he kept saying, oh, you're going to win this, you're going to win this. And I kept pointing out to him, it's closer than you think. It's actually closer than you think, and you just need to do a couple of these sort of things. Fast forward, it gets to turn 5. He draws his secondaries, does his things, and I end up winning, I think, by 4 points, 90 to 86.
Wow, really close.
And it was that part where the opponent kind of looked at it and said, hey, yeah, if I had just held one more objective in one of the earlier turns, this is a tie game. And it was, so my point to everybody, especially as we're all learning a new edition, keep track of your score. I personally use the Tabletop Battles app, does a really nice job of keeping score kind of throughout, so you're able to track it, you know exactly where you are. And I will check at the start of each player's turn, confirming with my opponent, hey, this is what I'm at, this is what we're looking at, are things good for you? So that part there is really my recommendation. But great opponent. Deathwatch is really nasty too, so watch out for them. Seth, how about for you? How was round 1?
So I had a rematch against a player I played before named Joseph Alcorn. He's on the Army esports team. He was bringing Imperial Knights, so I drew like one of the boogeyman right out of the gate. But I feel like my orc list is actually fairly good into Imperial Knights. We had a really tight game. I lost by 7 points. That was very much in hindsight a winnable game if I had focused on killing his little knights first, instead of trying to long bomb Mazrog into a warden. So it was a lot of fun. Mazrog basically sauntered across the board and taking like 2 or 3 turns of firepower before he went down. Snickrot killed 2 baby knights on his own. We were having a good time. So it was a good game. It was real close right up until the end. Then at that point, but when we got to the end and he still had like 2 or 3 baby knights, and they have a decent amount of OC, it was really hard for me to score objectives in those last turn or 2. So should have focused on getting rid of those sooner. But that was a loss, but you learn from them, and then we move on. So round 2.
Seth, we do need to know though, before we go to round 2, and this I'm just seeing this in chat, was towering as impactful?
Oh yeah, towering was a problem because he basically had a Crusader that sat on his back objective and could shoot across the field and shoot my home objective. So like it definitely made it hard for me to hold objectives. But I have so much crap in my list. I'm just like, if you want to dedicate, I'm putting 2 units on every objective. If you want to dedicate, firepower, you're going to have to put 1 gun into 1 unit and 1 gun into another unit just to clear that 1 objective from that Crusader.
Yeah. Ouch.
It works, but it doesn't feel good when you're just like, you can't kill us all.
Yeah. All right. Round 2, Nicky Dee. Who did you go up against?
I played orcs. I played against orcs, and it was a list that had a lot of trucks. I think he had 6 trucks because that's the most that you can have, and had him filled up with boys and just a lot of units. He went first and pushed up, onto the kind of the objectives. But he's orcs; he's going to do that. He was setting himself up to be able to do a turn 2 walk, and that I was going to have to react, and he wanted to, push me off a primary. But I drew my tactical objectives for turn 1, and I drew overwhelming force and no prisoners. So at that point, I have a very clear incentive to go and to kill his things, especially his things that are in the center of the board. So I killed 3 trucks, took out a couple of units of boys, whittled down some other units that was there. So at that point, he still has plenty of things, but I'm now blocking him out on the primary because I had the incentive to push, and I've already got a huge lead on secondary. So, we played through the game for it, but this to me was one of those examples where, needing to have a balanced list, you need to be able to play with the secondaries. And sometimes if you just get those right secondaries on turn 1 then it can really flip the game, on its head. But my opponent was great, was wonderful. Orcs are always a fun time to play against, and this game was no exception. So my opponent, Paul, was an absolute gentleman. Seth, you would love him. I mean, he's playing orcs, so obviously you would love him. But
man of culture there.
But probably a goth culture. But Seth, what about your round 2?
Round 2, I had Custodes. I played a player that I hadn't met before named Aaron Hawthorne. This was a bit more of a learning game as he was still kind of learning his custodes and learning the core rules. So we had a very good game. At one point, he marched like a big old block of custodian guard, like right into the midfield objective, and I threw everything at it and killed all but one and like the Inquisitor in there. So we were trading haymakers there. The big thing is Custodes, once they're down and they've used their, they come out in reserve or their once per game advance and charge, they sort of lose some mobility. So I was able to leverage that. I think that we only got through 4 turns because I was kind of going through a lot of rules with him so he can learn things. So we ended at, I think it was like 61-55 or something like that. It was a close game. It was going to break a bit more in my favor if the game continued because I was burning a few objectives. But I didn't have time to complete the action because it completes in your next command phase. So solid win for the orcs, but it was definitely an interesting one because them golden boys is tough to kill.
Yeah, believe it.
That's for sure.
I played actually Custodes in my game, and I was like, wow, Custodes are still they're still a challenge. There's still a challenge. There's that fun strat which allows you to bring a guy back alive from the death.
It's not fun. I don't know what you're talking about. That's annoying.
Fun for the Custodes player. Yeah, I'm like, wait, no, it's that hard to kill, and you just bring him right back alive. Yep. Nicky Dee, round 2 for you. What was up?
Round 3. And speaking of bringing guys back, so round 3, I'm playing on top table and I'm playing against Necrons. Bring in lots of guys back. I was playing a guy named Josh Campbell. He's kind of a local shark in this area. Definitely a good player. I had not had the chance to play him before. We were playing the Servo Skulls mission. If you're not familiar with this is one where you don't score points based on holding an objective. It's if you control an objective, you get to move it 6 inches, and you score based on how close it is to your opponent's deployment zone. So I'm running my list with big chunky monsters.
It's football.
Yeah, it's football. I'm running my list with big chunky monsters, not a whole lot of OC. He's running Necrons with a lot of guys that have OC and have a lot of board pressure. He rolled to go first, and that was kind of it, based on that mission. I did not. It was also very much a learning game for me in how to play against Necrons. Really needing to target their characters or the units with characters or some of the support pieces. So I got to say my favorite part of this game wasn't actually the game itself, but it was the 20 minutes after the game. Josh and I sitting down and we're talking through, okay, this is what you can do during this turn, or these are some of the ways to play against this army, was to me one of those really good examples of we are playing as opponents, but it is a game of 2 human beings, sitting down and wanting to have a fun game. And I thought to me that really showed Josh the type of person that he was, wanting to kind of teach and share. We'll see if I get a rematch against him at any point in the future. But I think that's the one thing that I would say as you get your games in 10th edition in, be like Josh. Talk with your opponent. go over with them how to play the games, and what they can do.
And
the
reanimate like a son of a bitch.
I won't endorse that part of it, but everything else that I said, yes. But yeah, it was a great game. So I ended up finishing fourth. I finished fourth overall for the event. Obviously lost on top table, and then my opponent from round one got in, snuck into third place that was there. So it was a great event overall. Really appreciated it. But Seth, how did round 3 go for you?
I also got Necrons in round 3. I had a decidedly different experience, though.
Oh boy!
I was again playing with another newer player. This one was Andrew Welton. Andrew was a great guy. We had a lot of fun. He did not respect orc combat, so he got too close. I went first and just kind of moved up, and then he moved up, and he killed a few trucks and killed some of the boys that got out. But he was way too close because I went in hard, and I think in my turn I killed 6 Scorp Tech destroyers with the Destroyer Lord, 6 Locust destroyers with the Destroyer Lord, and about 35 warriors and a Technomancer.
Ouch.
Snickrot being the teleporting Chad who just ran in and just like shing stabbed the Technomancer in the neck. It was like, where's your feel no pain now? And so,
who's your MVP? Who's your murder? Like, what's your big killing thing that you have in your orc list?
I don't really have a big killing thing. I mean, like the characters can all pop off, but they can also not pop off. That's a bit dicey because they all have devastating wounds, so I have to roll 6s.
Yeah.
So it can be a little dicey. Get it, punch.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it was fun. I think I basically tabled them by turn 3. So it was like 99-12, but learned a lot in terms of like he learned about orcs in terms of like how much space you have to give us, and it was fun because I got to see some of the Necron stuff in action. Yeah, it was a good time. I really like Locust destroyers, and I want to get those.
They're good.
And I am very happy that I rolled like a bunch of 6s for my beast bosses when they made combat with that unit and did a bunch of mortal wounds, so that I didn't have to have them
multi damage with the so now you're doing multiple mortal wounds.
Well, the Locusts, they fire like 3 shots at strength 5 -2 damage, and they're lethal hits. And when you put a lord in them with them, they're lethal hits on 5s. And they re-roll 1s or something like that when they're shooting like the closest target. So they have a lot of shooting. They're fairly durable, and that shooting, like, someone's like, "Oh, here's my big 9." I'm like, I don't give a crap. I rolled 5s to hit. So there's definitely some power there. So I like them. That was cool. So now I got to put those on my list of models that I'm slowly acquiring for the Shelbacrons.
Well, guys, after this, this weekend of play, right? You each played, your RTT. Let's get some takeaways. Who wants to start off with like just overall takeaways from the weekend? Or who wants to take it? Seth, Nick, either one of you guys.
Nick?
Yeah, I'll start. I think the big thing is just get some games in. I certainly learned we are on Index Hammer. So there are still some interactions and still some parts where I think there are some rules questions that exist. Those are going to be, I think, few and far between. Really, in my game, the Crypto Thralls for the Necrons, I don't know if they exactly are played the way that Games Workshop intended. I don't know if they're infinitely resurrecting guys, if that's the intended part. But as someone pointed out, Gene Stealer cult are an infinitely resurrecting army. So it could be something where it is designed as that. But the point is, though, I had a great time going out and playing games, and as I learn my own rules for my army, and as I play and get more games in, I'm going to really become more familiar, know what they're good at, know what they're not so good at. Probably not going to use Rodigus anymore. He was fun for the first time around, but probably not worth me running another time. So I still have a big sandbox to play in, I think that's it for me. But Seth, what about for you?
I've learned a lot between my practice games, the RTT. I actually did, if you want like a deeper breakdown, I did a video on my Seth the Mad Dog channel going through kind of my top 5 tips. But the main thing is, like, there can be very strong armies out there like knights. But if you focus on mission play and build a list that tries to work on playing the mission, not killing the opponent, you can still do very well. So I've been enjoying that. It's definitely been a different experience for me, and I have to thank my friend Brian Seep, who helped write the list, because he basically took all my big killy toys away from me and said, "You will do the mission." And then that's when I started clicking and finding success. But it's a very different feeling for me with orcs, because I'm used to being like, I have to like break your back on the log turn and crush you, otherwise I'm not going to win. And now it's like, I mean, yeah, I got to connect on a few combats here and there, but I really just need to kind of stay in the game and keep being able to keep myself in position that whatever card I draw, I can do, and think about how I'm going to use my assets throughout the game and try to score those points, and not so much about killing. It's about being cunning, less brutal.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Sound like a true orc. I love it, Seth.
All right. Well,
so, take us into the FLGN,
Yeah. So what's been going on over in the network? Our friends over at Black Rabbit Gaming have started streaming again. And they have a game up of Gene Stealer Cult versus T-Suns, two of the top armies out there. And they're very good players. That's always a great way to learn. Our friends over at Party at the All Points, they did a Seraphon review, which I know you've been building, Kicker. And they've also been reviewing the updated battle scrolls and points changes. And then our friends at Yavin Base, they were streaming at ACO. They did the Legion coverage. That's all been re-uploaded, so you can go check out those games and see what's going on with the Legion games. But that is it for the network news. Kicker, why don't you take us into the community poll?
Yeah, guys, community poll is found on the Frontline Gaming Community Facebook group. You'll want to check it out so you can participate. This week we asked, how do you keep track of wounds? By either counting down like a sane person or counting up like some sort of psychopath. Yeah, I mean, you basically either count down with your numbers or you count up. What do you think, guys? Do most people count down? Do most people count up? I mean, come on, it seems to me obvious.
Everyone knows the correct answer.
Correct answer is you count down. All right, that is the correct answer. Nicky Dee, did you see the results? What are the results? You want to read the results for us?
Yeah. So there were a total of 1,392 votes. 88% say countdown is the way to go, while there is 12% that are counting up. So that part there. Yeah, we've got a doozy there.
Now, reading the community responses on the feed, the original post, we see that some people say that in Age of Sigmar you count up. So some people learned this disgusting habit from Age of Sigmar. Other people, shame those who count up because it's saying it's too hard to keep track of your opponent's wounds. Like, counting down is very obvious. There's so many wounds left, but counting up seems a little unfair. So tell us what you guys think. Should this become law maybe one day? I don't know. I think this could be like a legit rule, personally.
Well, I have something that I have to take care of, guys. I have to sign off a little bit early tonight,
right.
But I'm going to leave folks here in chat. I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Nicky Dee and Kicker, and I will see you guys next week. But until then, why don't you guys hit the community spotlight?
All right, yeah. Nicky Dee, take it away, Seth. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely. All right. So our community spotlight here. Kicker, last thing I'll say as it goes for the wounds counting up, counting down part here while I bring up our images. I always count down because I know how many wounds are left on my model, and that's the part that people always want to know. It's how many wounds left to kill it. I did see some folks that are pointing out, well, they count up because that means they use less dice.
Doesn't make sense.
And it's going to be that you're going to have to use dice anyways, people. So that's not a good argument, okay? And that's also why we have wound counters or other things like that. Yeah. I'm not personally a fan of using D20s myself, just because it's very easy for them to get bumped, move around, that sort of thing. Yeah. But to each their own. I think that's really the key part. As long as you're counting down, that's the right way to do it.
Not to each their own. You count down, people. You count
as long as they're counting down. I don't care how you do it. As long as you're counting down, I don't care how you do it.
And there's a lot of people, I see them at LVO every year, that sell the wound counters. Those are really pretty inexpensive, and they make your life so much easier, and they make your opponent's life so much easier. It's very clear how many wounds are left. You just switch the little dial there. All right, let's hop into this community spotlight regarding the photos that we were posted and shared.
We'll go. Yeah, we'll go through a couple here. And again, reminder, folks, on Wednesdays, it's usually Adam Peterson or Seth is asking to share your hobby progress. So make sure to post up on there, and maybe you'll be featured. I will note that I am seeing some repeat offenders of folks that are, that makes it sound like it has a bad connotation, Kicker. I don't mean it as a bad thing. It means there's some folks that are plowing through that hobby progress. But we're starting off with Sandeep's Shark. I don't know if this is a 3D printed model or from some other set, but the model itself, the sculpt looks amazing. The paint job on this is also looking really, really fantastic here. I definitely like that mix of blue, greens, and purple. that for the Shark. So well done, Sandeep, on the progress that you got there for your Shark. We've got Adam. He's got some Emperor Spears. I believe the Emperor Spears are one of those custom or secondary founding.
They were in a book.
Chapters.
There's a book. I'm pretty sure. Wasn't there a book, the Emperor Spears? I think I'm pretty sure there's a Black Library book about the Emperor Spears. We can look this up later.
Yeah,
you can fact me if you want.
Yeah, I know in 9th edition they had their own rule set for Space Marines, so I know they're definitely one that exists. So they're looking really great there with that blue and silver. Almost kind of reminds me somewhat of the Carolina Panthers, if you're a football fan. I lived in North Carolina for 9 years, folks, so I know that color scheme. And then we've got JC, my buddy JC, up in Maryland. He's got some of the they're the new apothecaries. Chat, I don't remember what they're called, but they're the new apothecaries from Leviathan. JC's got one,
armor, right? Aren't they in Gravis armor?
They are the okay. Gravis. Yeah. And these are the ones. These are the apothecaries. They don't do healing. They learn how to better kill the opponent. So a certain kind of apothecary at that. He's got one painted in the salamander with the salamander pauldron and skin tone, and then another one as an ultramarine. JC does play both salamanders and ultramarines, so I love seeing that he's adding to his forces in this regard. We've got Mike adding some Star Wars Shatterpoint.
Yes.
Kicker, you and I have talked about this offline a number of times. I am this close, folks, to starting Shatterpoint, and models like this are not helping me. We
haven't talked about Shatterpoint is the equivalent of Age of Sigmar in terms of the quality of the model sculpts. I mean, okay, they're not as good as Age of Sigmar, but they're definitely a huge step in the right direction compared to the traditional Star Wars Legion miniatures. You know, they're just that much more dynamic and interesting to look at. So yeah,
the models look great, and then it's also the part where I'm very interested in playing a game like Shatterpoint or perhaps Marvel Crisis Protocol, where it's skirmish, just a handful of models, something where it can take me just a couple of painting sessions to get things done. Well, in order to paint like what Mike has done here, it's probably going to take me a lot more than that. I don't have that level of technical skill. So Mike, kudos to you. Looking absolutely fantastic. And then last one that we've got, David. We've got his Screamer Killer from the Leviathan set. So this one I'm also really, really loving as someone who is from the Northeast and is used to eating lobster and crab and that sort of thing. This looks incredibly natural, Kicker, in terms of how the painting scheme for the legs out of the carapace come.
No, it does.
It's making me hungry. It's what it is. That's what I'm feeling from this. So it's another great week of Hobby Showcase. Really love to see it. Which, Kicker, is there going to be a Hobby Showcase at Lone Star Open?
Oh, 100%. So something that we rolled out at Atlantic City. We're going to be rolling it at a Lone Star Open. It'll be part of every single Frontline Gaming event. You know, the Top Cut gets to show off their beautiful models. We want everyone to see those models because they're epic. We want photos to be taken. We also want our judges to be able to compare all the top armies right next to each other to really give them a fair opportunity to really get nitpicky and look into that. So yes, Lone Star Open, Saturday night. So after the third round, we're going to take the best contenders, line them all up, and let the judges really compare them. So yeah, don't want to miss that. Guys, we really appreciate you listening to us tonight. A lot of fun. I'm really stoked to keep on playing 10th edition. I had so much fun this past weekend, so I'm stoked to start playing again this weekend as well. Nicky Dee, do you have any last words for us?
Go play 10th edition, folks. Get some games in. It's still new in the edition. There's going to be a couple of rough patches here. We're all learning it. Be patient with your opponent. Be patient with yourself learning the game. Go out, roll some dice, have some fun with it, and then we'll be back here each and every week to talk about it. We'll be back in a couple weeks after Lone Star Open to go over all the results from that event. So right now, enjoy your Warhammer. If you're not enjoying your Warhammer 40K, enjoy Age of Sigmar. Enjoy Star Wars Shatterpoint like Mike is. Folks, there's plenty of gaming here for us to all do. So, but with that, we're going to wrap up today's show. And I'm going to take the microphone that would have been from this side, taking the microphone from Seth to close us out. So folks that are in the chat, folks that are listening to the podcast, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Signals from the Frontline. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Good night, guys.